Good morning and welcome to Zen Fits here in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world. But then you too are at the center of the world. And if you think nothing fits, it's because you're not at the center of the world. When you're at the center of the world, everything fits. Everything fits. You're the hub. The spokes go out. Everything fits when you're the center of the world. But then everyone is at the center of the world. So what's going on? How can everyone be at the center of the world? There's only one center. And I'm it. Okay. Title of this talk is We're All Playing Marbles. I started off the morning answering a message question. Are there deities? A friend of mine wrote, a burning question, a nagging question. Something that doesn't fit. Something doesn't fit. Something's wrong. Something doesn't fit. So she asked me. She wanted me to tell her how everything fits. She wanted me to give her mind rest. Rest is when everything fits. You finish a crossword puzzle. Everything fits. You finish a pool game. You've knocked all the balls off the table. Everything fits. We're all going from nothing fits to everything fits. We create games where nothing fits. And we work and work and work. Boom! Everything fits. And I did it. So we're competing to see who can make everything fit first. But the question is, in order for everything to fit, we say, we have to say nothing fits. If everything fit all the time, would there be any games to make everything fit? If everything fit all the time, if everything fit, and nothing, and there was no unfit, you see, there would be no effort or desire to make everything fit. You see, so everything would be, Now we imagine that to be heaven. See, you get to heaven, people say, he's in a better place. This place, nothing fits here. You go to heaven, everything fits. Can we really, does that exist? Can a place, a world exist where everything fits? What would that be like? What would it be like if everything fit? There would be no surprises. There would be no adventure. There would be no exploration. There would be no discovery, because what's there to discover? Everything already fits. Because most of us live like that. Most of us live with the assumption that the world I perceive, everything fits. But then somebody else points out, that doesn't fit. And I start to have an argument with them. In my view, everything fits. In my understanding, everything fits. And the other viewpoint is, no, that viewpoint doesn't fit. Anyway, I'm just riffing this off here, trying to get to the center of the world. We're all trying to get to the center of the world where everything fits. But we can't. We can't. Why? Because everybody's a different center. Nobody is seeing the same world. So nothing fits. Everybody sees a world in which everything fits in their world. We're all Trump. In my world, we're all Trump. And the Democrat, not in my world. See? Anyway, so a friend asked me this morning, do deities exist in their own right, or is it just in our mind? That's kind of like a Zen cone. I know this friend of mine, and she messaged me, so it was kind of like private here, But it's the same thing as a Zen cone, where the monk comes to the master with this question where nothing fits, and he wants the master to sort it out. I love that, sort it out. We watch British TV, British mysteries, and the common phrase is, sort it out, or he'll sort it out, or I'll sort it out. Something doesn't fit. And the wife says, something doesn't fit, and the husband, I'll sort it out. Or you go to somebody to sort it out. I can't sort it out. I can't sort it out. So I'll sort it out, Well, that's what got Trump elected, but please don't get me there. He said, I'll sort it out. But anyway, we're trying to get to the root of this thing. So the image came to my mind as a boy in Lemon Grove, San Diego, outside of San Diego, during the war. My father was in the war in the Pacific. We lived in, and this was a Lemon Grove. Of course, now it's all suburbs and everything, but then it was just lemon groves and dirt. And I went to a primary school, an elementary school that was just dirt. I mean, there was little buildings. There was no one building. It was like a little row of classrooms in a field of dirt. And what did we do in the dirt? We played marbles. So I remember now, suddenly it comes back very clear as I dig up this memory out of the dirt, you see, of a little boy playing marbles. And you would draw a circle in the dirt. And you would bring your marbles, and you would have a shooter, which would be a little bigger marble, and you would try to shoot the marbles out of the dirt ring, out of the circle. And we would play marbles, and then we'd become good shooters and good marble players. And we would have a ranking of hierarchy. It's kind of like pool, whatever. But anyway, and then when the bell rang, you put your marbles in a bag and you go back to the classroom or you go home. But then as adults, we forget the world of the child. We forget the world of the boy and the girl, where everything was play. And now the world is serious. Now there's no such thing as playing with the world. The world is out there, and it's serious, and we're trying to get it sorted out, and we're all trying to get your marbles out of the circle. If I can get your marbles out of the circle, then just my marbles are remaining, and everything is sorted, you see. Because your marbles, who are coming from a different viewpoint, your viewpoint, are unfit. Right? Unfit. So to make everything fit, I got to get rid of your marbles, your viewpoint. So this is where Buddha lands. This is where Buddha, the great Buddha, at the end, after 45 years of teaching Buddhism to the world, teaching awakening, he realized you can't teach this. He didn't realize it then. He knew it at the beginning, but he did it anyway. When he first awakened, he realized, this is unteachable. What I have discovered, what I have seen, what I have become, what I'm aware of, this awakening is unteachable. But then the gods said, legend-wise, you can't go to nirvana. You got to stay and teach, even though it's unteachable. You got to stay and teach, even though it's impossible to teach this. And that's the Bodhisattva of compassion. He stays in the world to teach what is impossible to teach. He stays in the world to teach. And what is he trying to teach? Well, you could just sum it up in this talk here, is that everything is a viewpoint, including Buddha. Buddhism is a viewpoint, and then you get to Zen and say, I got the Zen. And Zen is say, well, Buddha's a viewpoint, but not Zen. Well, then, yes. Even Zen is a viewpoint. Everything is a viewpoint. Everything is a viewpoint. Now, the way to get a grip on this is that imagine that your mind is a video camera. I used to be a wedding photographer and video. And so the most boring wedding in the world is when you put your camera on a tripod and just video the wedding from that one viewpoint. That's a one camera viewpoint, and the camera doesn't move. It's at the center of the world. The camera's at the center of the world. And it looks around. You could go all the way around, you see. You can go all the way around in a circle. It's like being at a ship at sea, and you look, and you're in a plate, and you can look around, and to get high enough on the ship, you can go around. You see, you're in a circle, and the ship is moving, but the plate of the ocean moves with you. So you're always at the viewpoint. You're always on that ship, seeing the whole ocean the stars, the universe from that viewpoint. From that viewpoint. But then another ship comes into view, and they're at the center of the world, and from their viewpoint, you're an object in their viewpoint. But from my ship over here, I look at the other ship and I say, oh, they are an object in my viewpoint. So now you got two viewpoints. And each one says, I'm the center of the ocean. You can visualize this. Each ship is the center of the ocean. You can see this if you ever go to sea. You look around, you're at the horizon is the edge of the plate. And the medieval man, the Middle Ages, thought that this was the world, that the world was a flat plate. And if you went over the horizon, you'd fall off. You'd fall out of your viewpoint. Can't go there because I am the viewpoint, we believe. We all believe we are the viewpoint. This is called the sense of self. The sense of self is a viewpoint. The sense of self is a camera on a tripod, and it won't move. And if it does move, it's always on one camera on a tripod that looks around, and it sees other people. But if you get in relationship with them, if you get into a relationship with them, you've got two viewpoints. You've got two viewpoints. That's what a relationship is. If you're not in a relationship, they're all objects. They're all just objects. And you're the viewpoint, the center. And your consciousness is the viewpoint. And you look all around, you see objects. The good objects, the bad objects, pretty objects, the ugly objects. They all got characteristics. They all got qualities. You got a list of the good qualities and the bad qualities. You got a list of what you want in your viewpoint and what you don't. Well, I don't know. Those are ugly. Let's get rid of them. So you're playing marbles and you got the shooter and you shoot those marbles out of the viewpoint, out of the circle, till only your pretty marbles remain. Or if you're playing a game as a boy, you got your marbles and you got, and the goal is who is the first one to shoot all the marbles out. So you're the last viewpoint standing. If you shoot all the marbles out, what's left? You. I'm the only one. I got rid of this other viewpoint, you see. So its viewpoints go to war. Viewpoints go to war, trying to shoot out the other viewpoint because the other viewpoint is challenging your viewpoint by saying, I'm the center of the world. No, I'm the center of the world. No, I'm the center of the world. Well, you're wrong, and I'm going to get it sorted out by getting rid of you see. So it's a clash of viewpoints. Each one believing without question, that I'm the center of the world. So when I start my talk, I say, laughingly, welcome to, this is from Blackstone, the center of the world, where nothing fits. Yet, everything fits. So what's this shift? What's the shift? It's the same world from nothing fits to everything fits. What's the realization? What's the awakening? What's the Buddha in here? What's the Zen of it, you see? What's the Kensho? What's the Satori? What's the aha? What's the wonder? The wonder of seeing for the first time. The wonder of breaking through the veil. Of what? Breaking through the barrier. In Zen, the masters say, we create this barrier. The barrier to Zen, the barrier to awakening, the barrier to Buddha, the barrier to liberation. The barrier to what? Freedom from the viewpoint. Freedom from the viewpoint. It would be like a wedding photographer. I was so happy when I was doing videos back when VHS was starting. That's when wedding photography began. Wedding video began when you got a VHS and a camera. And you go around filming the wedding. But it was always from the viewpoint of one camera. Oh, I was so happy. I spent $1,500 investing in a video editing suite then. Had a big table and TV screens, and it was 8mm, and I would film the cameras were 8mm, and you could film the camera in 8mm, and then you could edit it and put it onto a VHS and sell it to the bride. because they had VHS. Anyway, it was a big thing back there in the 90s. Or 80s, I don't know when it was. I lose track of the decade. But the point is, a wedding video is boring as hell when you just have one camera looking at people standing around eating. Have you just seen those wedding videos? One camera videos that don't move, and they just stand there and record people talking and eating. No. You're liberated when you can edit the video. And you can go in and shoot the cake cutting from that video, and then shoot the audience from that video, and from that, and then you can take that and edit it and clip it and put it all together, and you got a wedding video that has multiple viewpoints. This is movies. Movies are not one camera on a tripod. They are 3-second, 5-second, 10-second shifts, or depending on how they edit it, of viewpoints. 1 minute, you're the woman. The next minute, you're that. The next minute, you're looking at the floor. The next minute, you're looking at the camera shows you a coffee cup. You say, oh, that's a clue. That's a clue. If it's a mystery, whatever the camera shows, it's a clue to waking up. In other words, the movie ends, the mystery ends with the aha, and everything fits. It's all sorted. Before that, it was just fragments. It was just marbles. It was just viewpoints. But when you go, aha, all the viewpoints become the one that is not a viewpoint. You get that? Please get that. This is very concrete. And just look at with a wedding video. You do a wedding video that's edited. Maybe you got somebody else doing another camera. Then you edit all that. You edit the camera, the viewpoints from that camera. And you put them all, they're all just a bunch of marbles, fragments. A Picasso painting. What is a Picasso painting but a bunch of fragments? Slices of viewpoints, you see? And so you edit it, and you put them into one video, one movie. And when you see it as one movie, all the pieces, all the marbles, all the viewpoints fit into one integrated reality. But in waking up, in Zen, in Buddhism, in aha, I see, reality is sorted out and there's no more questions. Are there deities standing by themselves, or are deities part of my mind? Well, that is based on a viewpoint that is not questioned. And the viewpoint that is never questioned is that we believe the world exists out there as it is, and all we do is going around and video it. But we're videoing the same world. So we just believe that I see a world out there from a viewpoint, and you're seeing the same world out there from your viewpoint, but it's the same world, and that's not true. What we see is our viewpoint. What we see is the world from a tripod with my mind on it. And I just look around, you see. I can move the tripod, but it's like being on a ship at sea. The ship moves, but the world, it's like being on a GPS navigator. You can move on the GPS navigator, but the map boots around you. So when you move on the ocean on a ship, you're always on the ship. And the ocean boot moves around you. But it's the same viewpoint, you see. So this trying to get at the point is, does that viewpoint exist? Or is it just a way I can navigate in the world? Is it just a conventional way of seeing the world so I don't bump into people? So I can fix things, so I can go to Walmart, you see? But when I believe that world exists outside, substantially on its own, then what have I done is that I have put myself out as the viewpoint. And a viewpoint doesn't exist. A viewpoint is a viewpoint. It's not. It has no. You can't go out in there and look and go out into space and say, "Oh, look, there's a viewpoint." Well, it's like an inch. It's like an inch. Well, that's handy. It measures the world. A ruler. It's an inch. So the carpenter has a viewpoint of inches. He sees everything in inches. But do the inches exist? You ever seen an inch walking? Oh, it's a worm. Well, how do I know? It's an inch long. But does the inch exist? So the viewpoint tells me that's a worm. But the viewpoint is just inches. Just measures inches. And there's no inches. Alan Watts used to joke about this. Anyway, we're just playing marbles. We're just trying to sort things out as if the world was a dirt circle full of marbles. And each one of us is the shooter. Now, little boys know this. When the bell rings, they pack up their marbles and go home. But us adults, we believe the marbles are real and that the circle is the world, and I've got to sort things out by getting rid of all those the other guy's marbles. Okay? It's just marbles.